Different types of environments are able to interact with cells through the receptors on the cell surface. Specific molecules are able to bind to the cell, which then later causes the secretion of other molecules. There are different types of cellular responses that are provoked by a signal transduction pathway. For example, protein synthesis, a change in cell metabolism, cell division, growth, or even apoptosis. The change in structure of any signal molecule could potentially affect its pathway. In a few seconds, I will be showing you how epinephrine is able to change its receptor adrenyl protein by setting off a series of signaling events. Once epinephrine has reached the liver target cell, it's going to be received by the beta-adrenergic receptor. Because epinephrine is a ligand, it's not going to be able to cross the plasma membrane on its own. This is called reception because the receptor is detecting the signal molecule epinephrine. The receptor then goes under a conformational change due to the signal molecule epinephrine. When epinephrine binds to the beta-adrenergic receptor on the liver cell, G-coupled protein on the inner side of the cell is going to be activated. Each G protein is composed of 3 subunits, and the binding of the epinephrine to its receptor is going to cause one of the G proteins to be removed from its 3 subunits. So when the G protein binded with the activated receptor, the subunit that was released is going to now release GDP, and it's going to take up a molecule of GTP. So once the G protein subunit is activated, it's going to then diffuse within the plasma membrane, and it's going to continue to do this until it reaches the enzyme called adenylyl cyclase. Once the G protein subunit attaches to adenylyl cyclase, it's going to activate the enzyme, and it's going to catalyze a formation of CAMP from ATP. CAMP is also known as cyclic AMP, and it's going to be a second messenger to the cell. That's because CAMP carries the message of the first messenger, which is epinephrine, into the cell. CAMP is then going to bind and activate to protein kinase. So protein kinase is also an enzyme, and it basically adds phosphate groups to other proteins in the liver cell. In this case, protein kinase is going to be adding a phosphate group to another enzyme called glycogen phosphorylase, and when a phosphate group is being added to another molecule, that is phosphorylation. When glycogen phosphorylase is activated, it's going to be able to break down glycogen into many molecules of glucose. So the response of this signal transduction pathway is going to be the release of glucose from the cell.